Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Jannu tribe. And we are getting ready for a very exciting moment because we are seeing what one of our younger seers of the Seers of the Tide Pool line is going to be having for her very first child. We have Nami here, and Nami, I love her. She is our little swimming mouse. She's so interesting looking because she has the brown panda pattern. She is going to have her very first child, and I'm very excited about that. Her child is going to be with Honoro, who is also very fascinating because he has these stunning orange eyes. He's the only one in the tribe right now with orange eyes, and he has a little bit of a passion for orange eyes and orca pattern, aka the creatures who have the panda pattern and the underwater breathing ability. And so he is going to be finding himself absolutely thrilled because he's going to have a fun little school of females in just a second here, because we are also going to be sending over Ora-Oka, and we're going to see what kind of children that Ora-Oka and Honoro will be having, and hopefully repopulating the entire area around the Mother's Peninsula with tons and tons of children that can frolic happily in the waves, crack open tons of shells, be able to really figure out what some of the mysteries of the Tide Pool Seer line have to offer, and also just be really beautiful looking. So I'm really hoping we'll end up with the orca line of swimming creatures I have always wanted, and that's what's going on down to the south end of the island. Up to the middle part of the island, we are starting to have a few of our wandering boys who don't really have any specific skills for being able to swim in water, starting to head up north. And they're just curious, kind of, not rogue males, because the rogue males, that would be the spit snout creatures that show up every now and then. All of these children, except for little Canoe Duke here, have all been born from rogue males. And these guys are going to be hanging out over here and occasionally leaving. Corey is also getting ready to have another child, actually Solo's child, in the dream of having really strong children of her own. But the males and other unattached creatures that aren't really dedicated to gathering up any food are going to start helping us finish exploring what's going on this middle island. We want to start clearing away all of the grass and just seeing if there's any other hidden, unexpected surprises waiting for us to the north, like this healing plant that Beryl actually stumbled on. And meanwhile, Beryl and her sister Tumi, who's really adorable. In fact, I'm going to send Tumi back over here and have her eat this so that she's fully healed up. Yes, that would give her 3 days longer to live, and that would help her heal from the sickness she had as a child, which I think would only make Beryl feel even more determined to bring her sister on this journey into the unknown shadows of the grassland and towards the other trees, because Beryl believes that her sister became sick as a child as punishment for their mother's ambition by the seers. So the seers, not the seers themselves, but like the gods of the seers punished her sister Tumi and took her brother Reef. And so Beryl is really turning her back on the water. She doesn't want to have anything to do with the water. And so she is not going to be breeding into her family line any traits to do with water. She believes that the tribe should focus on becoming stronger. They should be focused on becoming more defensive, and they should focus on sticking to the land, being able to chase down other creatures like the bunnies for prey, and being able to crack open the nuts that are under the trees. So Beryl really wants to see a line of strong creatures of the shadows, really focusing on strength, focusing on keeping the venomous attack ability, and focusing on keeping the cracking ability going. So that's her dream, is to have that kind of line of descendants that can one day leave this land and hopefully find thicker forest on the last island. So we're going to be working on breeding up the creatures for the next island, primarily from Beryl and Tumi's line. And any of the boys that we have wander up there will be potential genetic contributors. And otherwise, we're just kind of relaxing a little bit more with the creatures we're trying to breed down to the south and letting relationships flourish. We have developed enough food, we're up at over 300 food pretty consistently with our creatures, that we kind of have the right to just go ahead and let some relationships start flourishing instead of having to worry so much about who's the strongest and who's going to be able to get the most food resources. And just a couple really special relationships before we go ahead and have a flurry of babies born, because Mirami is also sitting heavily pregnant on the nest with Kokima's very last child. Oh, her mate passed away. His bones are right over there. It's always so morbid. Two of his sons are like standing next to their father's bones. It's always so sad. I feel like they would have a little ritual because they're swimming creatures and just like gently push the bones into the water. I might actually have... Oh, Kuki doesn't have a strong enough ability. I thought he had enough fishing ability to go chase down the koi fish. Phooey. I really wanted some koi fish hunters. But a couple cool relationships that we have going on in the tribe right now is Anna and Rira, who are best friends. Rira has really great movement and great eyesight, but she's not very good at anything else, and she has a very nervous nature. Meanwhile, Anna has actually the strongest out of all of the current creatures, Seer of the Tide Pools line. She has the strongest seer sight out of everybody who's currently born in the tribe, even if it's not totally strong enough to be a priestess, because she has ram horns instead of red antlers. And she just has terrible real sight. She's short-sighted, so she can hardly see with her actual eyes, even if she does have seer sight, because she can crack open the clamshells and try to read whatever's inside, especially if they're pearls, as the future of what the tribe should do, or like some omens of ways to take care of themselves. So Izana really, really loves Rira and has just discovered that Rira has a leech, so she's coming on over to help her friend out. Also, I should probably think about breeding Izana pretty soon. Honoro, if Ravan grows up quickly enough, he's going to grow up in a few days. When he grows up, then I may have him and maybe Izana try to have a child really quickly before she passes away. So we'll look into that in the future too. And then Dado is kind of repenting for how she tried to turn her powers, because she does have seer sight as well, and she tried to turn her powers to not such a good means by taking over control of some of the new nest that the tribe was trying to move into, and they have now abandoned, primarily because of Dado's behavior over there. They found when you only have one nest, some of the females become very defensive and try to like defeat one another and become dominant female, and that's not the way the tribe has always done things. They've always shared the nest that they had. And Dado lost her child, Reef. He died. And her child, Tumi, became sick the same moment. Actually, Reef and Tumi became sick at the same time. And then Reef got eaten by a bird as punishment for Dado trying to twist her seer sight to more selfish ends. And her very last child that she has ever had is Tigaris, a little girl who also became somewhat sick, but has been born with seer sight. So as a way of trying to find peace with the ancestors, Dado has been bringing her daughter down to the big tide pool, where hopefully one day we'll have enough creatures. My dream is to have enough creatures that the entire tide pool is always lit up, so we can always see immediately when clamshells show up and just leap on top of them. But she's bringing her daughter down here to bring her to Anaro. I don't think she's gonna make it, but she's at least gonna push Tigress in the right direction before she dies. And hopefully little Tigress will have a good future over here as well. And then the very last relationship I just wanted to point out, because I think it's about to end, is the fact that Rivari came over here searching for the rogue male that she could smell on the winds. She found him, and even though her sister Resiana was also pregnant, her sister passed away. There's her bones stuck inside that bunny burrow. Oh, Resiana! But her sister did pass away before she had her child, and Rivari realized that she couldn't make it back to the Lost Peninsula. So she is leaving little Rira in the care of Mirami. And Mirami promises to take care of little Rira and raise her as her own. And that'll be a very good thing, because at first I thought I would banish Rira gently to the Lost Peninsula like I do all of the rogue-born children, until I realized that she actually has I and H immunity, and we don't really have that anywhere else in our tribe right now. So with an actual surplus of males that Mirami has given birth to, I think we'll risk that short-sighted eye and that hemophilia possibly being added into the gene pool for the sake of the nice immunity that we don't really have anywhere else. So we'll have to see. Mirami's many sons may take interest in Rila. So with all of that said, let's settle in, and we're going to see what Nami's first child with Anaro is going to be. Oh, goodbye, Rawari. Oh, it's a little panda. Oh my goodness. And she has bee immunity. She's got panda pattern with the brown fur. She unfortunately does not have antlers, which I think is going to disappoint both of them. But she does have cracking. However, she doesn't have seer sight because she doesn't have any antlers. And she has really good collecting. So there's at least that. So she might be one to gently send up to Oh, Dado! I'm gonna miss Dado so much. She's gone now. I'm so sorry, Tigaris. I'll send you down. You can start working your way over, and you can come to join this group. So Anais is really adorable, but she's not quite what we were going for, and that's okay. She can gather up some berry bushes and maybe be perched right here and help keep an eye out, at least, for any future bits and pieces that we may want for the berries and for the clams. And I mean, she's got normal eyesight, so I may be immunity. If we need to, I may try breeding her in the future. All right, but Nami is not one to be dissuaded from a goal she may have in mind. So I think she's going to go ahead and just become pregnant and just jump straight back onto the nest. And we're going to have Honoro perch right here and kind of defend Mother's Peninsula, which is about to get a lot busier because we are also going to send. Let's see. Do you have? Yeah, Koki. He's going to climb over here, and then we're going to have Oraoka come over and see a very, very handsome male just waiting next to an empty nest. This could not be more attractive and appealing to a creature of her age. So I think Oraoka is going to see handsome male plus nest equals some babies of her own very, very soon. All right, and then over here, let's take care of this one. There you go, Izana, yanking off that nasty leech. Oh, what do you think you're doing? Trying to come over here and steal our food? All right, gonna go ahead, defend all of the delicious food. Ravan, let's see. He's got the ability to fish down. Oh my gosh, he does have the ability to fish for koi fish. But I think he's gonna come over and he's going to get these bunnies right now instead. And Baria, I'll have her scooch this way. And then take just a moment to gather up some berries. Lilia, I love that she's got like 3 lilies, or Lil, in her name. She's going to stand there. Yeah, everybody down here is kind of lucky because they get to have an easier time of it. And up north with these ladies is where I'm going to get really strict about who to breed with who. I am going to come back and have Toomey heal up though. So Toomey is now healed. And I'm going to send Beryl. Oh, and Beryl has found a nest, or Beryl has found a berry bush. Wonderful. And I think Beryl can just barely see the nest where she's at. So she knows that there's hope for her to start a little tribe of her own. And we're really going to focus on trying to have some very strong children with big bodies. So I need to get that ready for when Beryl has her children. There we go. And I need to make sure we keep cracking ability too, because I think the trees are very useful, and our dark pandas of the forest really rely on the trees. All right, so Nunu, you have cracking ability too, and you may not have the genes that I really want to pass on, but that's just going to have to be the way it is sometimes. And let's see. I'll just have him start moving up north. And then we've got Kuki, who can actually go into the water. He's a little bit sickly. Can't really find anything just yet for him to get. There's some fish there. He's just wandering around a little bit. And Kuki, you have like an identical brother now. Little Von Von. Yes, and this is really what I'm going for. Somebody who can do cracking ability, fishing, and underwater breathing. I wish that fishing was a little bit stronger, but it's better than nothing. Dang it, he's a little bit sickly too. All right, Mirami, what are we going to name this child of yours? Let's see, Little Von Von. And he's kind of cute. Let's see, and Kovan. I think we'll name him Kovan because we had Kokima was her mate and he passed away. All right, and Mirami is watching over the children now. She really enjoys just watching over these little ones. And Rila is gathering up the clamshell. It almost looks like poor Rila is having her mother's bones scavenged by that Crabbit. Very rude, Mr. Crabbit. Very rude indeed. In fact, let me see if I can send over Sansi. And he can maybe fight with that Crabbit and kind of ease that up a little bit. Speaking of fighting with Crabbits, Koki, what did you do? Did you like insult their mother or something? Your mother was just a crayfish. We'll have to see what he's been up to. All right, and not really the babies we're hoping for down there. I really do need to start working on kind of doing some more specific breeding with our creatures. Primarily, and I just saw a clamshell down here, primarily because I don't feel like we're ready to move on to the next island, and I really want to move on to the next island soon. So you know what I can do? Dugdrio, you're gonna start helping to do a little exploring too. Or actually, I should send him down to gather up clamshells, while Cloud, who really can't do anything, can start doing a little exploring along the Lost Peninsula line. They can start opening up the paths so that when I finally have creatures that I feel like are ready for the the last island. Actually, I think there's a 4th island after that that's like super hard island. But when we're ready to start moving on to the 3rd island, then these guys can like prepare the paths, because they just know that one day the tribes will arrive, and their hard work of clearing the paths will have prepared the way for the next island challenge to begin. All right, and then we're gonna have little Canoe Duke, who has a teensy bit of fishing and not much else, scooch down, sit next to his mom. This is going to be the last baby that Corey is going to be able to have. And Solo also has a teensy bit of fishing, and that's about it. So he can come over and kind of keep an eye on everything over here too. All right, Corey, I'm excited to see your child. Is that everybody? That is everybody. So we're going to settle in, and we are going to see what Corey's last child looks like. And I'm actually super excited to have our males, maybe because they're born from rogue male fathers. I'm really excited to have them go ahead. There's just all boys here except for Corey. And start clearing the path. I think that's a good compromise so that I'm really antsy to move to the last island, can you tell? But I don't want to turn my back on the creatures that we have already. All right. Corey, you had a little girl, Ravaris. Oh, and she's got really good attack. She's got antlers, and she has claws, and she has big body. Oh, in a weird way, we might actually get some pretty strong creatures bred up from unexpected lineage. Oh, and she's got the immunity C gene. Yes. And unfortunately, she does have short-sighted eyes, but you know what? I'm happy with what we've got. That's a little bit better than I was expecting. So Ravaris, we're gonna name her Chorus after her mother, and she will possibly be one of the females. I mean, I guess we've got some guys that she could technically breed with. Dugtrio and Chorus might actually have some semi-decent children who might have some sort of an ability. So we'll let them stay. I'm going to send Solo over, and Dugtrio is going to stay here because he can actually crack open clamshells. So don't drown, okay? And then Solo is going to come and help his brother with clearing away these grasses. So they're going to try to widen the path so that future generations will be able to come by. And meanwhile, Corey is going to add her bones to the last little bit of the Lost Peninsula, where her children will hopefully one day be able to lead the way to a whole new world. So she's got very high hopes for them. All right, Corey, I'm going to miss you. At least having her die right here means I'll always see those bones there, and I'll always be able to think about her. All right, let's see. Oh, there's another baby. I almost forgot we had another. This is a very spotty child. This is a very spotty little cheetah child. Oh my gosh. A and G immunity. Wonderful. We really needed to see that start showing up a bit more. I'm going to name him Chet, because he seems like a Chet. And if any of you guys have ever seen Thundercats, then I'll be very happy, because that was a character from a Thundercats fanfic that I absolutely loved growing up. Let's see. And we've got a little bit of collecting and a teeny bit of strength. He doesn't really have any abilities that are very useful. Do you see what I mean? I'm trying to figure out what I should start breeding for. Yes, and Ravan is finally old enough to breed. Just in time, Izana can come over. And she can have bumped into Ravan unexpectedly and just be like, oh, here's some berries. And now hopefully she will have a good child, because he's got antlers. And he'll just like kind of shyly say goodbye and start moving his rump over to where there's koi fish to collect. There we go. And we've got babies we're keeping track of over here. Lasimi, still one of my favorite creatures. She's gonna pass away pretty soon. Ravan is her child. I wish I'd been able to get more children from her, because she just has such really great genetics. What does she have? Yeah, Lasimi, what am I gonna do with you? She's just so awesome. I'm pretty sure Ravan is her child, so I don't think it's worth trying to like breed with him. Maybe. Probably not worth it. I was tempted just because I don't want to lose the awesomeness of her genetics. Racimi is really cool. Racemi is probably what I want to go for. I want to make sure we have venomous fangs. I think that's my first task, is really ensure we get venomous fangs in amongst Beryl's children, and then focus on getting the nimble fingers among Beryl's children, so we always have a way to feed ourselves with the cracking ability, and that will also give us the collecting ability, if I remember correctly. And then I'll just focus on strength from, you know, antlers or ram horns. I could see black ram horns. Black ram horns for Beryl's children would be awesome. And speaking of Beryl, let's go ahead and we're gonna have her sister Tumi go ahead and come over here, and then can I get right on over? There we go. And she can clear the way for her sister. So Beryl and Tumi are finally where they need to be. And Nunu may have just gotten a glimpse of some curious females that he's going to go chase down. Lamella is about to pass away, but she can clear away the path here. Finally starting to make progress on clearing paths. That is making me pretty happy. And then right over here are some fish. All right, got a little bit of fish from Kuki. And what do I want to have him work on? Maybe the far area, but I just know that Beryl is very anti anything to do with aquatics. She wants nothing to do with the aquatic genes. So I'm gonna need to be careful to make sure who I'm breeding with who. All right, Kuki, I might send down here. I really love his genetics. And he and Rila might actually have some interesting children, believe it or not. Why Rila? Because Kuki has normal eyes and he's got normal blood clotting. So there's hopefully a pretty good chance that he could pass on, say, like his water body and fishing tails to little Rila's children. So Rila, I think you're gonna fit in just fine. She's probably going to end up finding herself totally the center of attention with several of the random little males that Mirami had mostly boys. I think she only had one female. So she's gonna find herself the center of attention for all those boys and pass on that H&I immunity. All right, and Mirami, what to do with you? She's got 6 days left, so that's long enough she could try to make a run for it to find a male of some kind. And actually, Ravan would be the perfect male for her. Ravan also has the fishing tail, and he's got the venomous fangs. So I think Mirami is going to... and her son, Kovan. Are any of your siblings about to grow up? I don't think they are. Fui. Oh, there we go. We can do a little bit of attacking of that crabbit. I think Kovan's siblings are not about to grow up. So Mirami will stay here just for a second. And then, I mean, really, Ravan is like making his way towards us. So she's got to keep an eye on her child. And then over here, I still don't know what Koki did. He really insulted these crabbits somehow. And then I think Oraoka is going to snag the clamshell that was right there, pop on up, and she is going to actually woo Anaro. And Anaro is going to be sitting here suddenly surrounded by a plethora of orcas! Orcas! Oh my gosh! Lanara! You're exactly what I am going for! Yes! All right. So we actually have a proper orca again! Lana Oka. I'm going to name her Lana Oka. Because she's one of my orcas. Dang it! We're so close and yet so far away. We have the water breathing ability and we have the strength ability, but we don't have any cracking ability and we don't have any fishing ability. Why? So close yet so far. Alright, Lana Oka can focus on, like, I don't know, attacking crabbits. And in fact, I wonder, like, if you attack a crabbit with like 5 strength, do they die immediately? That's an experiment worth looking into. And we'll have a little Anais come over here on this side of her mom. And so close and yet so far. So if I was really hoping for something, I need to make sure maybe I want to try to introduce feeding from the bottom again. I think that would be cool. And then I'm going to risk having Anaro come over here. And then we're going to have these two have yet another baby. There we go. We're really on a baby boom. And then down here, oh, this is so awesome. Down here, little Tigeris, who has just a teensy bit of seer sight, has found her very first clam so that she can try to look into it and see, should I continue forward? And she's going to realize she should, so that she can come and join Mother's Peninsula, and hopefully we'll end up with lots of orca children and lots of searsight all over the place. All right, and then speaking of searsight, Rira is going to start moving around, keeping an eye out. Oh, there's so many over here. She'll go ahead and bring Izana over here. Oh, Izana's not gonna have enough time. She'll bring Izana's child over here and take good care of Izana's child, provided it has cracking ability. All right, so we're starting to actually make some movement. I'm pretty happy. We're exploring the island. I'm really flustered with trying to juggle so many genetics and actually get some of the things I'm going for showing up. Like, I really do want to see stronger creatures start appearing, so I'll be pushing Big Body on my pandas up to the north. But other than that, it's also just settling in and just seeing where the stories might take us. Like the fact that we do have an orca child, just she doesn't quite have the ability to do anything in the water other than swim. So hey, but at least maybe she could chase the fish. There's an idea. I wouldn't have to worry about her not being able to get the fish and reach them in time, because she can't even fish if she tried. All right, well, I'll continue to do my best, and we will start chasing some of our creatures around and figuring out where their stories are going to go. And I think a lot of the next arc of our story is going to be focused on settling these forests with Beryl and having a whole bunch of her children and her family line born, and really, really, really pushing to try to have as many strong, powerful creatures as possible so that we can get ready to go to the final island. All right, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.